Judge Xinis, Maryland federal judge, she's had it. She's now giving the other side, finally, in the Abrego Garcia case, the right to file a motion for contempt sanctions against the Trump administration because they're playing fast and loose with the rules, and they still keep Abrego Garcia, a man never charged with a crime, either in Venezuela, in El Salvador, or in the United States. They keep him in a El Salvadoran gulag where he sits today, despite the Supreme Court 9-0 ruling that he needs to be returned and facilitate his return by the Trump administration. They refuse to do it. They refuse to tell the judge why they're not doing it. And now the judge has had it. She's ordered them to produce all their documents. She's produced them. Ultimately, they're going to be sitting for more depositions. And now she's finally given the green light to Abrego Garcia's lawyers to file that motion for contempt. I'm going to break it down for you right here on the MeidasTouch Network. I'm Michael Popok and Legal AF. All right, let's go back in time. Donald Trump tried to use the Alien Enemies Act to get rid of over 250 people and send them to El Salvador, to a gulag, high security penitentiary operated by El Salvadorian's President Bukele several months ago, back in April. The 250 that were sent, one of them was named Armando Abrego Garcia, a man who lived in Maryland. He's married to a U.S. citizen. Donald Trump and everybody around him claims that he's a member of MS-13, a gang, and therefore he had the right to send him to El Salvador. The problem with that is there was no due process, and there was no ability to exercise a writ of habeas corpus to get him into a courtroom before he was sent there. His wife caught him on a video of men being unloaded into this jail. Donald Trump has taken the position that he's allowed to do it because he's a criminal, although there have been no criminal charges. And more importantly, there was an order of protection, an order of non-removal entered by a U.S. federal judge, an immigration judge, that said Armando Abrego Garcia could not be sent to El Salvador because he could be killed there. And knowing that, ICE, Immigration and Customs Enforcement, put him on a plane and sent him there. He's been sitting there for several months ever since. Now, the United States Supreme Court has ruled in several rulings, but one in particular about Armando Abrego Garcia, 9-0, that the Trump administration must facilitate his return, his release from that prison. Facilitation can take many formats. Make a phone call, diplomatic channels, I don't know, break in and go get him out, do a prison break. I don't know what it is, but the Supreme Court also empowered Judge Xinis, who they said is doing everything right in her case about administrating justice and making sure the constitutional due process protections are enforced and are protected. And said, you, judge, find out from the other side on a regular basis with updates what is happening with the facilitation. Nothing. Trump administration said they're not going to tell her. Marco Rubio said he'll never tell a federal judge, despite order, what they're doing or not doing diplomatically. First, they say it's diplomatic. Then they say they're never going to bring him back. Then they taunt the judge with newspaper articles that they mock up, literally mock up, to read, he's never coming home. He's never coming back. They mock sitting U.S. senators from, in this particular one, from Maryland, saying you're never going to see Abrego Garcia back in the United States. And they bring in, for this scripted cosplay kabuki theater thing in the White House, they bring in President Bukele from El Salvador, this tiny little country that Donald Trump says, well, it's with him. I can't bring him back. And Bukele says, I would never smuggle a person back into the country like that. And Donald Trump said, I would never ask you. Ha, ha, ha. All before the watchful eyes of the federal Judge Xinis. And she gave the other side the right to build their case for sanctions, in this case, sanctions for contempt, for violating that order. That order, affirmed 9-0 by the United States Supreme Court, who has subsequently issued two other orders, 7-2 and 6-3, also in this very area, that stand for the proposition that somebody in the shoes of Abrego Garcia needs to have habeas corpus rights, due process rights, adjudicated by a federal judge in the United States. And you already have the Trump administration in a case involving pending in Massachusetts, already trying to get another Abrego Garcia back from Mexico and saying they're going to do it. But they're digging in on Abrego Garcia. More importantly, they're filing sealed motions which keeps the public's prying eyes away from them. I don't even know what they say. The press doesn't know what they say. And the press has intervened. There's 14 different news organizations that intervened and said, we need to look under the hood here, Judge. Everything's being filed sealed and redacted, big black pages. We can't do our reporting. We have a First Amendment right, and so does the public, to know what's happening. She's finally ruled in their favor. As a kid, I loved eating cereal, but as an adult, I don't want all that sugar. And most cereals don't give me the protein I need. Then I found Magic Spoon, a nostalgically delicious cereal that tastes just like my childhood favorites, but without the sugar and with a ton of protein. And if you're already a Magic Spoon fan, I've got big news. Magic Spoon has turned their super popular cereal into high-protein treats that are light, crispy, and taste just like those classic crunchy cereal bars. Magic Spoon's brand new treats are so delicious and have already become my favorite before or after gym's snack. Magic Spoon has literally changed the way we view our pantry in my family. Now when my wife and I are looking for a quick high-protein snack that makes us instantly nostalgic with that warm and fuzzy comfort food feeling, we reach for Magic Spoon's new cereal bars. Every serving of Magic Spoon cereal has 13 grams of protein, 0 grams of sugar, and 4 grams of net carbs, so you can feel good about what you're eating. The most popular flavors are fruity and cocoa, and there's so many more. Magic Spoon's brand new treats are crispy, crunchy, airy, and an easy way to get 12 grams of protein on the go. And for the first time ever, Magic Spoon treats are available in grocery stores with delicious flavors like marshmallow and chocolatey peanut butter. Magic Spoon treats have replaced all my other bars. Just the right balance of delicious flavor, great mouthfeel and texture, and the best part, they are high in protein and low in carbs. Don't tell my wife, but after a long day of Legal AF video recording and research, Magic Spoon has become my occasional midnight snack treat. Honey, we're out of Magic Spoon again, a common refrain in my household. Get $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/legalaf or look for Magic Spoon on Amazon or in your nearest grocery store. That's magicspoon.com/legalaf for $5 off. Magic Spoon, hold on to the dream. She issued effectively 2 orders today. One, stripping off the redaction on a number of sealings made by the parties in the case. That's one. That's a good thing. Sunshine is the greatest disinfectant. We need it. We have a public criminal justice system with a public docket for a reason. Because not just the prosecution and the defendant have rights and a right to sit at the table of public justice, but the public does too. We don't do things in secret. We don't have star chambers. And that's a good ruling by the judge. But the best ruling is her paperless order that came out today. Paperless order means it's just a docket entry without more, granting permission. We'll put it up on the screen, granting permission to the movants, the Abrego Garcia side, to file their motion for sanctions and giving them a date and deadline in order to do that. So let's take a close look at that one. It says simply but powerfully, plaintiff's request for leave to file a motion for sanctions pursuant to Federal Rule of Civil Procedure 37 is granted. Plaintiffs shall file their motion no later than June 11th, 1 week from today. Defendants shall file their response 7 days later. That's it. Look, she's going to end up, I've said this before, I'll say it again. Judge Xinis is going to use her inherent authority and that under Rule 37 to sanction the Trump administration for failing to comply with her order as supported by the 9-0 ruling of the United States Supreme Court. You can't get the United States Supreme Court to agree on an order from Sweetgreens, let alone 9-0 on a major immigration and deportation order, and that happened. And she's now empowered. And as I've joked, there is no more powerful judge than a federal judge. There is no more powerful federal judge than one that's been confirmed and affirmed 9-0 by the Supreme Court. She's in the right. And the movants, the Abrego Garcia side, are doing the right thing to bring this motion. She will be the second judge to find them in contempt. Remember, or I'll tell you straight, first, that Judge Jeb Boasberg, the chief judge of the D.C. federal court, found probable cause to find the Trump administration in criminal contempt, meaning somebody's going to jail That is on hold because he found they've similarly violated orders to ground those very same planes that Abrego Garcia was on to take them to El Salvador when he ordered them to be grounded and wheels down. Wheels down, and snack table up and chairs in an upright position. And they went anyway over his ruling. Now that's up on appeal with the DC Court of Appeals. She will be the second judge to find contempt. I assure you. And I would bet on it. She's going to find him in contempt because it's right. I'll continue to follow it all right here on Legal AF and on the MeidasTouch Network. While you're here, come over to the Legal AF YouTube channel. We're continuing to grow that pro-democracy channel. I curate the channel. I got about 12 different amazing contributors at the intersection of law and politics. We want to be your one-stop shop for all that hot corner. Come over to Legal AF MTN and subscribe. All these filings that we're talking about, I post on the Legal AF Substack, another community that we're building in collaboration with the MeidasTouch Network. We have them under Filings AF. If it's about the Supreme Court, we have it under SCOTUS AF. I have a Morning AF, a briefing every day. So help us build that pro-democracy channel. And I got a brand new podcast. Just have the overflow of information, and I'm just chomping at the bit. Tuesday nights, MeidasTouch, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, a show we call now The Intersection with Michael Popok. Join me every Tuesday night on the MeidasTouch Network for that. So until my next reporting, I'm Michael Popok. Can't get your fill of Legal AF? Me neither. That's why we formed the Legal AF Substack. Every time we mention something in a hot take, whether it's a court filing or a oral argument, come over to the Substack. You'll find the court filing and the oral argument there, including a daily roundup that I do called, wait for it, Morning AF. What else? All the other contributors from Legal AF are there as well. We got some new reporting. We got interviews. We got ad-free versions of the podcast and hot takes. Where? Legal AF on Substack. Come over now to free subscribe.